Hey, Scott here from Party Foul. Greg behind the camera this time, and pretty simple topic that can get kind of long and complicated. It's proper War Machine etiquette. It could be tournament, could be friendly play, but it's just something to clean up your game. It could be anything from sloppy movement to failing to mark effects. Most players I've played against are pretty good about it, but it can be ugly. So to stop the nerd rage from triggering, because it will trigger my nerd rage when I see people, make a movement. You go, I'm going to move this guy 6 inches here. No, I don't like that. I'm going to move him 6 inches here. No, I don't like that. I'm going to go here. Like, no, you can't do that. Declared, measured, you have to go that way. Simple as that. Anyways, getting out of topic there. Whatever. So the first one I'm going to talk about, it's kind of close to my heart, because a buddy of mine, Dan, actually gave it a name, a nickname. Whenever I played war games, whether it was Games Workshop and started into this, I always had a rule where when I roll my dice, if it's ever cocked, I always re-roll it. Doesn't matter if it's a 6 or a 1, consistently through the game, when the dice lands and it's cocked like this, or even just a little bit, and it's a 6, doesn't matter, I'll be like, sorry dude, gotta re-roll it, and whatever the new one is what I always stick with. My big pet peeve is when you're playing against somebody and they roll that 1. Oh, it's cocked. They re-roll it to 6, and then they're all happy to continue on. Then later on, it's a 6, and it's cocked, and yet they're not so eager to offer the re-roll in that case. So at the start of every game, when I'm playing a new opponent, I always let them know we have what we call the STR Rule. Thanks to Dan, he named it, the Scott Tellerico Rule. It can work both ways. Either always re-roll your cocked dice, or never re-roll your cocked dice. So when it's cocked, and it looks like this, it's a, oh, that tip fell out, it's a 2. Because you can clearly see it, the bigger face, it's a 2. I prefer the cocked, always re-roll it, and at the time you get a 1. So that's the first one, proper etiquette. It's not in the rules for the dice rolling, but it's my STR, close to my heart. I always re-roll cocked dice. A good one to know is declare intent. It can be very important. If you have models, not like these, that need to be base to base, but because of the modeling and there's too much or whatever, they're like that. When you put the models down, just tell them, by the way, these models are all base to base because they get a shield wall or something, but because of the model, they can't be. Declare it. When you move in towards a zone and you end your guy like this, if your intent was to be base to base, you just say, I want to toe the zone, and you just make sure that you actually do, but you tell them that that was your intention. I've had people go up to the flag to score, and then when it's their turn ends and you look and there's like a quarter, not even a quarter, an 1/8 inch, they didn't base the flag. I'm like, you don't get the point. He goes, but I clearly moved over there to do it, but you didn't tell me your intent to do it because we could have fixed it right then. And you didn't, and that's sloppy, so don't do that. Oh yeah, tape measure. We have a tape measure here. Here's another one. This drives me crazy. This guy wants to move, he's gonna run over there, so he's going to run that far. No. Don't snake your measuring tapes, not accurate, not allowed. I don't want to hunt you down, okay? Don't do it. Label your spells clearly. That also works for effects. There's a ton of tokens out there that have spell effects, so you can put it down, whatever. Always mark your effects. If you're doing it to them, don't count on them to do it. If you knock a model down, put a token down to represent that, especially one that says knockdown. Makes your life so much easier. It's your responsibility, in my mind, to mark all the stuff that you do to your guys and your opponent. But vice versa, if my opponent knocks my models down, I'm not going to wait for him to do it, and I'm just going to grab my knockdown marker and just to keep the game flowing. Always mark the effects, but if your opponent doesn't seem to be helping you out, then just always mark the stuff. Because I've had it where I kind of burned a guy in a tournament, and I'm totally guilty of it. This is before, I always add stuff to my STR rules. We played a game, I shot and paralyzed or something. I made the model unable to charge. It was like stranglehold or something, he had to forfeit something. But then I didn't mark it. But he knows I did it, I know I did it, and then the next turn he tried to charge with him, and after he moved, I was like, whoa, 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 remember I did that effect to you? And he was like, yeah, I do remember. So we pulled it back, and thankfully he didn't just say, Judge, come over here, didn't mark an effect, because it's going to go against me. So thankfully in that case, we both agreed that yes, it happened, but my fault, didn't mark it. Always mark your spell effects, always mark any effect in the game that's relevant. Yeah. It comes up so often that shouldn't, so please mark it. It's something silly, but unused focus on a jack. at the end of your turn, don't clean it up. 99% of the time it's fine, but there are some models out there that can use that Fury or Focus, not Fury, on the Warjacks, so you should get in the habit of just leaving it there, because there are retribution casters that could shoot and steal it off. The other one would be like the Forsaken can use that against you as well, so just leave it. For people who play Hordes and you're keeping track of your Focus and your Fury, don't leave your Fury on your cards back here. Your Fury has to be on your War Beasts. Leaving on your card is, there's too many instances where things can get misplaced, and always clearly mark it, put it on the War Beast, have the stack there, then your opponent can see it, and when you're reaving, it's all clear that you're taking 3 off this guy, 2 off this guy, 1 off that guy. But when it's back here on your cards and you're just swiping it into your hand, you're not really sharing the information, you're kind of hiding stuff. So instead of being shady, be open. You should always have it on all the beasts that you have out there. Key 2, have your front arcs clearly marked. You don't want to rely on shoulders, because sometimes the shoulder is not what you are intending. This is a rifleman, he wants to face this way, his eyes are looking that way, but in the rules it's shoulders. So the shoulders, his front arc would be like this, and then that would be weird. So clearly mark them so you have no arguments, because free strikes do happen and can change a game. Again, I went over this already quickly. Move your models once. Don't pull it back and start over. You will never place it in the same place ever. And it's just inaccurate, and it's not clean play. When measuring your ranged attacks, for example, he's going to try to shoot Harlan. You don't take it, oh, I've got a 14-inch range. Yep, I'm good. That's inaccurate. What you want to do is just measure to the model, and that's it. You never ever measure your full range unless you're shooting at someone at your max range. Clearly defined terrain before deployment. We covered this in another video. It can get ugly. And cards should always be accessible, even if you're using War Room. You should always have your stack of cards, because if somebody's going to ask you a question, the last thing you want to do is hand over your $800 iPad and then fumble it, or he fumbles it and it drops on the ground and breaks. I mean, that's not even proper etiquette, that's just stupid. Have your stack of cards. What is your caster's feat? Pull up the card. Even if you're using War Room, have the card available just to hand over. That's not so much an etiquette thing as I don't want to break my iPad thing. And order of activation is important. It's something small, but remember, Hordes players, when you run your beasts, running is your activation. This is a small little thing. You can't then rile him. You always have to say, I'm going to rile, then run. Now, it's a sportsmanship thing. Most guys will be like, yeah, go ahead. But when the competitive player's playing and he knows those kind of things and you're like, I'm going to run to here, oh, and then rile. The guys that say can't do that. Your activation's over. And it can be a game of, finite rules. So there you go. That's just a little breakdown. I add to this all the time. I don't think I'll do another video on it, but I'll maybe put little blurbs up. I'll put this up on the website as well, and I'll have like bullet points so you can kind of see how, we try to play a tight game here in our meta and hold ourselves to very strict rules, but I think that makes us cleaner players in the end. I know for myself and my good buddy Greg, when we play each other, it's not like we're going for each other's throats, but it's like, oh, you know what, I totally forgot this. And he'll be like, go ahead and take it. And I'm like, no, I forgot, man. I'm going to lose this game because of that mistake, but because I lose this game, I won't make that mistake again. And it's rubbed off on Greg. He does the same things. It costs us games, but it makes us better players tomorrow. Lose games today to be better tomorrow. Kind of works.